Water tariffs has been decreased for a few months now, but water consumption in the public hasn't changed. Plus, in today's lifestyle segment, air pollution can cause cancer. And we talk about 2013's Aruba International Beach Tennis Tournament. 15 on 15 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yentl Lieuw. In August, Webb lowered its tariffs on water. We spoke to a representative from the water company who says there hasn't been a difference in the amount of water residents and company consume considering the drop in cost. Tariffs on water had been lowered for 3 months now. Webb has yet to see an increase of water consumption by the public. This reinforces the fact that regardless of price, people will use water as much as they need to.
What we also must notice is water is a basic product. It's you can't live without it. So it's not a luxury product. So you cannot say from one day to the other, okay, I'm gonna reduce my consumption with half. So I don't think that it has an influence if we reduce the price of the water.
Whether the price of water is high or low, Webb asks the community to always conserve water. In the bigger picture, the company and general public can work together to control the costs.
If you look at the type of product that we have, water, it will be a product that will always be needed by the community. But then again, we still ask to use less water possible, because the more water we use, the more Webb has to produce, the more heavy fuel oil we need to produce that water. And the heavy fuel oil is very expensive, and it will not change.
According to ASHA, the water company is currently looking for ways to make water consumption cheaper for everyone. But in order to accomplish this, the public needs to do its part.
From our side, as a water production company, we try to make less use of the fuel oil. But we also try to seek other opportunities, other alternatives for energy that are cheaper, but also more sustainable, so that there is less impact in our environment. So that's what we do at Webb. And at the same time, we always ask our consumers to use less water possible, because it goes both ways. We have to do it together, and to avoid that we have to increase the tariffs.
In other local news, a credible article surfaced the internet recently and it caught my attention. According to the piece, flights from Venezuela to the Caribbean has been booked up fast, but not for the purpose of a leisure vacation, but for a type of money laundering. In an article entitled "Get a Boat, Venezuela Flights Booked Full for Months," says there are strict limits on the availability of dollars at the 6.3 rate, but Venezuelans are cashing in on a special currency provision for travelers. With a valid airline ticket, Venezuelans may exchange up to $3,000 at the government rate. Venezuelan travelers are taking advantage of this. So this is what's happening. Some Venezuelans who have purchased a valid airline ticket doesn't even use it, leaving many planes half empty. Credit cards are used abroad to get a cash advance rather than buying merchandise. The dollars are then carried back into Venezuela and sold on the black market for some 7 times the original exchange rate. The large profit margin easily absorbs the cost of flights and accommodation for a trip. One anonymous Venezuelan source in the article says the exchange was simple. A guy in a hotel room with 10 point-of-sale machines and then swiped the cards for $1,000 each day. This took place during his trip to a Caribbean island. So to put things into perspective for you, air seats may be being booked, let's say to come to Aruba. But if some of the planes are left empty or the traveler's intention isn't really to experience Aruba, then the various businesses on the island that are dedicated to travelers will suffer. Since air seats are filled, this leaves the tourists who actually want to come to Aruba to enjoy the island without a plane ticket. So this is a problem indeed. Now on that note, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. The World Health Organization has classified air pollution as a leading environmental cause of cancer. Take a look at this. The World Health Organization said the evidence was clear that pollutants in the air can cause lung cancer. Sources of pollution include car exhausts, power stations, emissions from agriculture and industry, as well as heating in people's homes. The World Health Organization said the classification should act as a strong message to governments to take action. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is a part of the World Health Organization, has now classified air pollution in the same category as tobacco smoke, UV radiation, and plutonium. It said air pollution had been known to cause heart and lung disease, but evidence had now emerged that it was also causing cancer. Now, what you eat or drink before, during, or after your workout gives your body the energy it needs to get through a tough sweat session. But when you do it wrong, it can impact you negatively. One of the mistakes we make is eating something new the day of a race or important workout. Reason being, there are certain food items that requires your gut to get used to it. Or another mistake, drinking too much caffeine beforehand. Now, a decent amount of coffee can indeed enhance your performance. Caffeine has been shown to improve endurance. But if you overdo it, you will increase the chances of negative side effects like nervousness, insomnia, headaches, and digestive woes. Another thing good to keep in mind is that everyone has different fueling needs, and there are variables like temperature and humidity. You may actually need more or less fluid than a boilerplate recommendation. So you don't need to listen to an expert or trainer to tell you when to drink during a workout. It is all up to you. Now, you've heard it before, too much of a good thing will turn out bad for you some way, somehow. This is the case even with fruits and vegetables, believe it or not. Here's the story.
Depending on how potatoes are handled, it can produce solanine, a natural pesticide that's toxic to humans. Apples and pears are fruits that both had seeds that contain compounds of turning into lethal cyanide when ingested. But for the cyanide-making compound to take into effect, you'd have to eat at least 25 apple cores into one sitting. Rice is another food that when consumed too much of is not good for you. Rice, especially grown in Texas, contains arsenic, a toxin that can cause bad things such as vomiting, abdominal pain, and vertigo. The highest level are found in brown rice, the lowest in instant rice.
With all that being said, despite the toxins, it would be incredibly difficult to poison yourself by eating too much of any of those items that we just mentioned. But the fact is, it could happen. On that note, let's take a break. This is what's coming up next. ATV will be broadcasting the International Beach Tennis Tournament Finals live, so be sure to join Channel 15 sports anchor Kadoji Kok and I on Sunday, November 17th in the early evening to watch our live coverage. Now, ATV has been supporting the beach tennis sport ever since it started. When the sport was first brought to the island, there were a handful of players. It is now becoming a dominating sport where many international players recognize the island for. The 2012 International Beach Tennis Tournament was voted the best event within the beach tennis community. The ambiance was phenomenal, the competition was heating up, but at the same time, people were able to enjoy the weather, drinks, and food Aruba has to offer. Organizers are expecting this year to be much bigger.
The inscriptions are coming in by the hundreds, so that is something which is great news, and it's worrying us a little bit. That's not going to get too big this year, but we're definitely going to make the 800 participants we are looking for. So that's fantastic. We have some strange countries that we never expected, we never heard of, and we have a few competitors from Africa, from Switzerland, and there's no beaches in Switzerland, we checked. And they're coming down to play beach tennis, so it's interesting. And we have people from Moscow coming down.
One of the organizers, Shore de Vries, says with more players coming in means there needs to be more of everything else at the event.
We started 2 years ago with 400 participants. Then last year we had 600, and this year we have 800. You can imagine that is a big increase, and actually the whole event will have a big increase. For example, the stadium court, we will have 2,500 seats this year, and we have to create it on Eagle Beach where there's absolutely nothing right now. So you can imagine the work. We have like 40 guys coming to help us building the whole site up. And yeah, so it needs a lot of planning and preparation. But we have everything under control so far. But the whole site, for last year we had 3 restaurants. This year we will have 5. So everything grows. We had 1 bar last year. This year we will have 3. Very important.
This year, the 2013 budget for the event is 450,000 florins. BTA has a vision. They want the event to be sold out one of these days so they can make the event and the island a premium place to be for beach tennis competitions.
We have a vision in a couple of years from now. I used to say 5, but I think it's going to be faster. We will have the biggest beach event in the world with, not in numbers because we have a small beach. It's a big stretch, but it's small. So we can handle 1,000 participants. And then we have to close the tournament. So imagine what's going to happen then. We have to organize pre-qualification tournaments abroad. So now, if you win the tournaments, you are allowed to play in Aruba, which is something happened to the Ironman competition in Hawaii. Everybody wants to join and compete in the Ironman competition, but you can't. You have to participate in these qualification events to qualify for it. So that's an upgrading for the event, and that gives credibility also to the event and the destination.
Ultimately, this means only the best of the best can join this competition. Bigger prize money will attract more people, of course. Here's Short to explain.
We always look what the competition is doing, and we want to be on top of it. So we checked last year. The highest prize money was $20,000, so we decided to go for $25,000. Now what you see around us is that other tournaments are picking up, and they also start to offer $25,000. So that's why next year I want to offer $50,000. So that's why I hope Aruba is going to pitch in, because then we're going to stay the Grand Slam, the biggest event, the Wimbledon of beach tennis. And so we always want to be at the top, not only with participation numbers, but also with prize money.
Aruba's International Beach Tennis Tournament will take place from November 12th to the 17th. For more information, go to www.beachtennisaruba.com. That is our show for today. Thanks for watching. We'll be back here with a brand new edition on Friday night starting at 7:15 p.m. So we'll see you then.